Okay, fam. I saw some of the answers to the questions I asked you, which was brilliant. But here's where I need clarification on. Okay. So how does the second, third, fourth wife propose to that person if to the point where he will say yes if you cannot date? That's what I don't understand. Cuz to me in my head, dating is how you bond with that person and try to, bring them over to you to be like, "Hey, I want to marry you." Now, I've never only once I got close to saying I wanted to marry somebody, and marriage to me is like a really big deal. And I know this my brain is like, some people are good enough just to be with, but marriage is so holy that I don't even think that it's possible for me to find somebody that I want to marry. But let's just say I did, and that person had somebody, like, right, and they're a Muslim. My question is, how do you bond with them? How do you get them to connect with you? How do you even get them to notice you? It seems very hard. Do you know what I mean? Again, to you it may seem easy, these questions and this thought, but remember, the Islamic mode that I'm learning from all of you is the exact opposite of what people do here. You have to remember, people do things on the first date. Sometimes they just go to a bar and the girl gets drunk, they drive her home, and then they do stuff, and the chick don't even remember his name. So you have to understand, when I'm trying to ask these questions, it's like it's genuine. I want to understand, how do you do it in a proper way? Okay, I got the house thing. That makes a lot of sense. Because it would be kind of suffering if you'd have to be in a small place crowded together. That would be kind of hard. Just because you want space. Okay, so I get that part. I got the marriage part. But how does a woman propose in Islam? How does she do that? And how does she know? How does she prove herself to where she will get him to say yes? Right? What things does a Muslim woman do to prove that she is worthy of being married, and that, to try to convince him to say yes? Because that's kind of what a proposal is. You're putting something on the table, and you want someone to say yes. But it seems I'm getting, how do you get that person to even notice you, acknowledge you, trust you to the point where they'd want to marry you if you can't go on dates and be alone? Because from what I've seen is you usually have to be alone to bond, or have a one-on-one alone so they can get to know your personality. I don't know, it seems hard. How do you do that? And how do you approach it? How do you go about it? And if someone's there, it's like it feels a little awkward, because I know some of you said that you need to be like, they meet in friends, and I mean, how do you do that? It seems hard. It's like a whole new way of thinking. Uh, and again, I know in the West, lots of dates don't even lead to marriage, and not even engagements sometimes lead to marriage. In Mormons, they have the thing called the promise ring, where they date and then they give a ring, a promise ring, saying we will marry. And some people, they don't even follow through with that. Again, I don't. I only have my grandpa. He's not my biological grandpa, but I call him my grandpa, and my grandma. They say they're married. But that's the only healthy example of marriage I have in my whole family. The rest is a little different. So I'm asking you genuinely. My best friend has a good marriage, but that's a different example because she's not Muslim, right? So I need to know, if one day I convert and you're interested in somebody, how do you go about that without dating? And I know this is something new for me. How do you do that? How do you like? How do you make yourself proven to them that, like, okay, I'm committed. I really like you. I want to be your wife, and to get them to say yes? How does a Muslim woman do that without showing her body, without going on dates, and without testing the tires, as they say? How 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 do you do that? Sounds like kind of hard, because it so sounds like it's easy for the guy to ignore you and be like, I'm not really interested. And then what if you really like that person and they turn you down, and you think in your head like, well, if they just got to know me and they just got to be alone with me, they'd see it. You know what I mean? So let me know. So that's like, try to put, like, if you're a guy, what would a woman who wants to be your second wife have to do to show you? Right? And if you're a woman, what would you do to show that man that you like him that way and that you want to go that way? Like, what would you say in a proposal? And then for men, what would you want to hear in a proposal? Because this is very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let me know.